Welcome back to yet another Bootcamp tutorial. In this one, we're stepping up our filmmaking and our photography with framing and composition. So we got two new fancy words here today. Framing is basically what is included in your shot, and composition is how we can see it or where it's placed in the shot. Composition is, according to me, one of the best things that you can learn, because when you really understand and learn how to use composition to your advantage, your videos and photos will get so much better. So the first thing, and the most common one when talking about composition, is the rule of thirds. It's when you place your subject on one of the four intersections in the 3x3 grid, because it's just a thing that your eyes tend to go towards one of these intersections rather than going to the middle or the edges of the frame. If you have two subjects, it's nice to place them on one line each, especially if they're in a conversation or face towards each other. Most cameras can turn on this 3x3 grid so you can have it on your display to better frame your subject when shooting. Well, Felix, you're in the center of the frame. Yes, I am, and that is because I'm by myself. I'm talking to you, and this is not a movie. This is, however, called central framing, and is perfect when your subject is facing towards the camera or away from the camera. Central framing is also super nice when you want to orbit around your subject, and this can be a person or a product or whatever. But if we were to use the rule of thirds and place her on one of the grid lines, it wouldn't look as nice. Also, when you're filming someone on the side, we need to understand something called looking space. Let's say this was an interview and I would sit and not talk to you, I would sit and talk like this. Yes, hello, my name is Felix, and this is a very dramatic story to tell because something. You notice that I placed myself on this line and not on this one. The empty space in front of me is called look space or leading room, and we tend to give the most look space in front of our character for the most natural looking shot. And this is important because if we give our character some look space in front of him, it gives us as viewers some relaxation, that we can see what's going on in front of him. The rule of thirds can also be used on horizons. If you're not going for a perfect symmetry, never place your horizon in the center of the frame. Decide if the ground or the sky is most important and place the horizon on one of the two lines. The next composition trick is leading lines, and this is not always available, but when it is, again, it's about leading the eyes, and if we see lines in the frame, our eyes tend to follow them to see where they meet up. So a super nice way to use leading lines is to place your subject where all the lines meet up. Our next composition trick is to use shapes and natural frames to isolate a subject, and this we can do for several reasons. One of them is to isolate the subject because we want to guide the eyes to look at it. Since video is just 2D, we can add things in the foreground and the background to add more depth to our shot and get more of a 3D feel. And we can also add natural frames to get a more pleasing and interesting image, both symmetrical and asymmetrical. Our next composition trick is to balance our image, or to choose not to. Note that I said choose, because to make an unbalanced image by mistake will scream out amateur. A balanced image is when you have elements in your frame to balance both sides. Like, again, this YouTube setup. I have my monitor here to support this side, and in the background I have my light, my plant and my printer just to give the background some elements. Now I remove the monitor and suddenly the image doesn't feel as balanced anymore, right? So, nice. So, now I hope you have a better understanding of how composition works and how tiny details can make a huge difference. There's always more to talk about, but I think this is a great start. And to just do a little recap, the most common ones are the rule of thirds, symmetry, leading lines, image balance, and natural frames. So if you want to try something today, you can go out and make a short video with 3 to 5 of these different composition tricks. And if you don't want to make a video, you can just take some photos using what you learned. And then if you want, you can always post it in the Facebook group so we can watch it together. If not, Good luck, keep practicing, and I will see you in the next one.